Morning. I was going to take the top box off the bike when we're not out on runs or tours, but then I've got to find some place to put it because obviously I don't have a garage. So I just left it on. So I'm constantly riding the bike with full luggage complement, panniers and top, and do you know what? I don't care. I mean, I'm commuting with it like that, but do you know what it means? It means I've got absolutely stacks and stacks and stacks of luggage space so I can carry all my pieces. Yeah, I've got my... It's rather convenient having all that luggage space. And there's a dude there. Nowhere to put anything. Nothing wrong with that. Yeah, he's got a wee tail pack. I often thought about that, you know, just take all the luggage off, stick a wee tail pack in the back, make the bike lighter and all that kind of bollocks. But as I said, I'm used to riding with it like this now, that it would feel a bit odd not having the luggage on, and it's a convenience of it as well. Oh, they've patched up that junction a wee bit. My Scarborough biker friend, I apologise, I think that's the place, I'm sure it's Scarborough, Stephen. The ferries cost, I think, around about £60 to £70. 5 ferries in total on that particular route. One of them's quite a long trip, which is obviously that was £18 I think for Charlotte and I in the bike, and that's one way. So, yeah, around about £60 to £70 you need allowed plus fuel. So an average day like that, which is not actually a lot of mileage. So the good thing about that day is that the mileage is reasonably low. I think it was only about 100 odd miles, because a lot of the trip involves being on ferries and stuff. But to me it's worth it. Sometimes a day like that's really good. So you get to enjoy the bike for a wee short blast, and then you're off, then you're on the ferry, and just, I don't know, it's just a good mixture. I love it. I love randomly shit about in ferries. I just love it, and so does Charlotte, so does Big Gordon. But yeah, you would want to allow about £100 for a day like that, so that covers you a bit of fuel and the ferries. Obviously there's trips where you can go do much bigger mileage on road, but yeah, love it. We will be going shortly to do another route, which is called the Kintyre 66. I've never done it, I don't know it. I think that a lot of the Scottish motovlogger people and some of the boys from down south, I don't know if Peaky's done it. I'm sure Graham's done it, Haggis Whisperer, or did they mention it at some point? I don't know. Big Gordon's certainly done it. So I'm going to, that's next in the agenda. So that'll involve another ferry to, well, it depends. We can take the ferry to Dunoon basically and go all the way down, and that'll involve a much bigger road ride. Or we could go via Arran up to Lochranza, over to is it Clunaig? Lochranza to Clunaig? I can't remember. And then right down to Mull of Kintyre. And then from the Mull of Kintyre you do the Kintyre 66 route. I think the west coast of that, or the east coast of the Kintyre Peninsula is brilliant, but the west coast is much smaller roads. Oops, watch my speed. So that's on the agenda. Sunday this week, Charlotte and I have got football this week. Well, tonight we'll get football. My home team's playing tonight, so we'll get the kick-off at 7:45. And then on Saturday rather, we won't be going to run because we're going to Celtic Park for an away game against obviously Celtic. which is the last game of the season. So tonight's the last home game for my team, which, if you don't know, is St Mirren pays the team. And Saturday against Celtic is the last game of the season. And there's a small chance that we could get a place in Europe. Small chance. It all depends on how Dundee United perform in the next 2 games, but we'll see. Anyway, I'm sure you don't want to know about football, but yeah, so we won't be doing much this weekend in general, but we are planning a run on Sunday, and I think we're going to go and meet Big G, who may be coming back from a trip, and then accompany him on his road back down the way, which might be up towards Skye. So we won't be going all the way to Skye on Sunday. That's a bit of a trek, up one back in one day, but we will be going quite far north, and yeah, I think that'll be excellent. And that takes us through some of my favourite places in the whole world, like Glencoe, stopping at Tyndrum at the Green Valley. It'll be brilliant. Just love getting out. A bit grey this morning, but it's lovely on the bike. It's 13 degrees at the moment, but I think it's to be. I mean, it was 27 degrees yesterday by the time we finished work. I'm going away early today because I've got physiotherapy to go to, and I think it's to get progressively warmer as the week goes, right through to the weekend. We're expecting a particularly warm weekend. What else? Any other news, folks? There's lots and lots going on with the family. More shitstorm stuff, but I'm done with that, to be honest with you. Not my family, obviously, but I'm not going to let it break my opportunity to be happy. In fact, in spite of everyone, I'm going to be happy. So Charlotte and I are in a unique position, and well, I'm in a unique position to find Charlotte, but yeah, we're going to be happy. We are going to live our lives regardless of what happens. I don't care anymore. Court cases, all bollocks, don't give a shit. I'm done with it all. Yeah, it's good. Life's going to be good, all things considered. I'm going to make my life good, because that's exactly what Sarah would want me to do. And since I'm the one that spent 24/7 with her, I'm fairly confident in what her wishes were. So there we go. Apart from that, it's car boot sale today at Palmadie where I work. Nightmare, traffic's a nightmare. But you know what that means? It means takeaway roll this morning. They try and squidge into the traffic further up. A bit cheeky, but everybody else does it. So normally when the car boot sale's on, Kevin and I take a wee nip in, get ourselves a few rolls, and we used to get sausage and egg, we now get burger and egg, and believe me folks, when I say this, it's epically good. Right, I'm going to squeeze into this gap. Thank you. And before that truck comes up, I'm going to filter. I'm going to try and filter. All this seems narrow here. Really narrow. This car's squidging over. That's, I think, for me. Thank you very much, car. That's lovely. People keep asking me questions about filtering, and it's not usually an easy thing to answer, is it? There's no hard and fast rule, but I think I've spoke about it briefly before in the video. But what you need to remember is I do this every working day in life. This is my daily routine, getting on the bike and squidging through this traffic. So I am so used to it, it becomes pretty much second nature. I don't know, you just learn to look for signs, looking in people's wing mirrors. Are they looking in the wing mirror? Do they see me? Are they body language? Or they look as if they're like, this van position, does he want to move into the other lane? I don't know, but he's very far over to the right. I'm looking in the mirror. There's no rule, I'm just used to it. This is a big bike also, I'm used to the spatial awareness. No. My spatial awareness is just to the bike. Again, I can fling this through small gaps that some people would go, oh, can't you fit through that? Well, sorry, you can. It's all about confidence and stuff. And it is a dangerous pastime, filter, there's no doubt in that, but here we are. And a person asked me about carrying pillions as well. I can't remember who that was, so forgive me. And I'm sure Charlotte and I, did we do a video on it? We did do a video, we talked about it, and I don't know whether we released it or not, because I'm sure there was an issue with comms. I can't remember. But you maybe heard Charlotte mention one of the ferry videos about fat pillions, and there was a group, and there was a guy who had been very insulting towards a lady that had said she's a larger lady and she wants to be a pillion, and she was met with derogatory comments saying, I lose 20 kilos and stuff, and maybe you'll be right. That's not nice, that's pretty nasty. Charlotte said, oh, she wasn't as big as me, so she had a bit of an argue back. There's a few things to take into account here. Not everybody likes carrying pillions, some people struggle with it. Not all bikes can take a lot of weight. Now this bike can carry 229 kilos, which is a fair whack, but this is classified as a luxury tourer, even though I use it every day for commuting. So if I was riding a CBR 600, for example, I wouldn't be able to carry Charlotte on the back, because our combined weight would be too much for a CBR 600. Hayabusa would be okay for that, because Charlotte's the same weight Sarah was when Sarah was healthy. So that was fine. I obviously check these things when I'm carrying pillions. I like to know what the bike's weight capacity is and all that, and that includes luggage, of course. So you've got to be careful, but also it changes the dynamic of the bike, the handling. So if I've got Charlotte in the back of the bike and I've got all the luggage and its weight, then the bike is predominantly rear heavy, and that, if you're accelerating hard, you feel it. You feel the front end wanting to lift up. I mean, I've wheelied this, not a high wheelie, but the front end has come off the ground on several occasions when we've been having a bit of fun, and I've been accelerating to overtake or something with Charlotte in the back. And we always have a laugh about it, because, you know, we always have a laugh anyway, because she's such a good soul. She brightens the day. But so Charlotte would be classed as quite a heavy pillion. But like I said, that's a very personal thing. It's something I'm used to, and it's something my bike is capable of. And also, pillions themselves, you get good and bad pillions. Being a pillion is a skill in itself. You might get a pillion that counterbalances and leans and tries to kind of go against the normal natural movement of the bike when you're leaning in corners and stuff, and that can really upset the balance of the bike. It really does, in a big way. So being a pillion is a skill. Charlotte is an absolute expert at it. I don't even know she's here. So would you believe I can't get through this bloody light? So considering she's a bigger girl, I don't have a problem. But again, I am used to it. As far as offering tips for pillions are concerned, how do you offer tips? I'm not in a position to offer anybody advice on a bike, but I can tell you how I deal with it. So, one of the big issues we had was getting on and off the bike, because obviously we've got all the luggage on it, and Charlotte was struggling with the top box, and it was the guy that gave us the top box, that says, why don't you put the pillion on when the bike's sitting on itself, and then you get on and off. So I get on and off the kind of adventure style where I stand on the peg and put my leg over, and since we've been doing that, it's been absolutely brilliant. That's a good tip. And your side stand can take a whack of weight. There's no worry about that. People think they stand up in the pegs that the side stand's going to collapse. It's not. Unless you're in a really bad camber or it's going to sink into the ground or something, but that's obviously common sense. That's something that you would apply before you even start doing that. But since we've been doing that, Charlotte's gained a lot more confidence, and getting on and off the bike is now just a breeze. It's a pleasure. It's not a difficult task. And it was bothering her a bit beforehand, and so thanks to Guy for that piece of advice. And that's what we do now. But as far as riding with the pillion's concerned, it's all about progressive movements, smooth braking, smoother acceleration. Obviously we've got comms. Charlotte, we've got a back box to lean against. She hangs onto my waist so I can feel her pulling on me. And you know, I'll say to Charlotte, you know, if we're coming up behind cars on a country road and I'm going to accelerate hard to overtake, I'll say right, brace. When she gets ready, she knows I'm about to do it, but she's so good at it now, she's so relaxed, it doesn't faze her at all, which makes it like my life much easier for me. But again, that's the difference with having a good pillion. One of my gaffers there. And the rest of it's just, as I say, riding smoothly, cornering smoothly, giving yourself a bit more time for braking and accelerating. And the biggest thing is when you're coming to a stop. Now, when I used to instruct, a lot of guys out there just use the front brake. They don't touch any other brakes on the bike, just the front brake. Now, bikes like this have got a kind of linked system where when I apply just the front, it applies a small percentage at the rear and vice versa. But I've always been old-fashioned. When I'm slowing down to stop, once I'm down below sort of 15-10 mile an hour, it's just the back brake, just dragging the back brake, and it brings the bike to a nice smooth stop. And when you've got a pillion on, that's even more important, because some people get really wobbly when they've got a pillion and they're just about to brake. So I don't know if I can really offer advice, but again, something I'm really used to. But listen, I'm at work now, I'm going to have to shoot. So, have an absolute blast of a day, enjoy the weather, I'll catch you all later. Take care folks, tatty bye.